Of course, using some area damage works, but yeah, I mean it looks nice at least when you're bashing all the out of stamina. Greetings! I hear you're on the market for another property already. Well, you are in luck. Today we have a special object inspired by JerWa's cage fighting design. We have the clean lines of a ramp leading up to the really nice purple-red platform, from which the enemies, and this means the zombies normally, will launch themselves towards the inner base in a futile hope of getting inside, but nope, oh no. The inner sanctum is not to be breached. It's an elevated pillar base with clean lights and Spartan design with little space for anything except maybe yourself. You could of course expand it if you wanted to. As they jump and try to breach the futility, they will drop down into the collection basket, which has some metal spikes around it. And you can collect loot at times, or most likely just get a broken bone if you jump in yourself. So the metal spikes is just to help kill some of the zombies if they try to go for the walls. Otherwise, they will be making their way out through the path and the ramp out. And once they get out, they'll make the journey up the ramp and restart their circle of death. Now, bidding will open at midnight, so keep your wallets thick and full because credit cards are not accepted. Of course, leave a like and subscribe and all of that if you enjoyed this video. We call this the ramped up melee base. And I'm going to do an in-depth walkthrough and I'll cover the design, why it's set up the way it is, and following this I'm going to show the inner side and look over how it actually works against increasing waves of zombies. We're going to go through a few Blood Moon hordes from 500 game stage with 8 concurrents to max game stage and 64 concurrent zombies, just to see how it holds up with the base design. So do stay to the end of the video so you don't miss out any of the dying or maybe everything collapsing. So you might be wondering, why do I always run multiple different hordes through the base setup? Well, the reason is very simple. I want to show how does the base work with just a few zombies, maybe early game, and then you transition to the middle game with slightly higher game stage, but also late game when you have a really high game stage, or when you max the game out and you have tons of zombies. That gives you a lot more information on what needs to be scaled for your own games, what small improvements and tweaks can help it. It's fairly often that people make bases and they run it through, say, day 14 horde, maybe day 21, and they declare, I'm invincible, this works the best, or similar. And yet, you look at it and go like, well, if it was a really high game stage, it would fail. If you had a lot of zombies and large concurrent hordes, it would definitely fail. So it doesn't always make it so just because people try it against an early horde. Most people don't play with 64 concurrent zombies, but a base that can handle 8, it might fail at 16. So I want to show a little bit how it scales. But I'm going to do a walkthrough, and let me get down here. So we have the usual thing with a ramp up. And I actually tried out using stairs because that's something that people have suggested. It didn't work very well at all. People have been saying that the zombies move up the stairs faster and they don't get stuck as much. But I had a major problem. They wouldn't go up at all. They decided that it wasn't a valid path and they started bashing the pillars. Bash the pillars that are these pillars, or these pillars are just all the way around. So that didn't work. So I had to go back to ramps. Now, if you were doing the slope ones, the ones that takes 2 blocks in order to reach one up, is probably better because I think bears can make it up and it probably makes it a bit more of a gradual incline. But again, this is just a conceptual base, so it doesn't really matter. Now, once we're up top here, I have a platform, and I wanted to make a bit of a platform so that when they come up, you have a little bit of more time to time it, because you're going to need to do that. And also, if you want to shoot them, you have a bit more time. And another thing that you might see, it's overhanging on both sides, and the reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to avoid them bashing the pillars that are on this side, because if they fall down, obviously everything starts to fail. So I try to offset them as much as possible, but you have to be a little bit careful because you get a lot of weight, especially on this side. All this built up stuff is carried on the pillars here. Either way, the zombies will run up and they'll fall down, and if you're standing here, they'll actually try to jump over and fail and come down here. And this is the collection basket. So I made this as big as I could without compromising the structural for the pillars. And I lined it with metal spikes. And for some reason I missed one out here. Maybe it got broken. Where are my spikes? Here it is. Okay. Let me get my spikes here. Okay. And this one. So this is just to, in case they fall down and they decide, well, let me try to bash here or something, because they try to avoid spikes. Blocks normally they don't necessarily avoid unless they, unless they have another path. But spikes they pretty much always will avoid. So after they fall down here, and it's about, this one is 6 high plus another 3, so it's 9. So they do take some damage, and they will run out here if they survive, which they probably will unless you bash them. They'll run up here. They'll get here, and then they do a really weird turn, and they go here, and they come here, and then they run around here. So their way of finding the shortest path is sometimes really, really weird. I was expecting them to be, and you'll see that later, they're running this way, but no, they do this weird turn, and then come out here. Don't know why, but it's really weird. So you could make this corridor longer and pull it out even further, and that would mean that it would take even more time to get back to the ramp. You could put traps there, electric fences, dart traps, blade traps, whatever. I just kept it bare just to show off this concept that is supposed to be melee. Now, the actual base for, and this one we want to get rid of. The actual base for where we're actually going to live, maybe not live, but at least stand, is going to be here, and it's on pillars. I put a couple of extra pillars in here because I managed to collapse it as I was digging down here as well, and lost the whole base and had to redo it. But you'll see that in the speed builds that's coming out in a few days. Now the golden color here is really important because it keeps the zombies from attacking it. They're attracted to blue, but they don't like gold. So keep that in mind. No, I'm actually just kidding. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. I just like the color. Looks like gold. And of course I have a hatchevator here. So let me go in here. And up we go with, and get that bug again, with this smaller hay bale here, so you can get in and out. Now, a lot of times when I make these conceptual builds, I don't really care very much about going in because I'm cheating myself up and down anyway because I'm flying around. But it's pretty easy just to do. I mean, you could have another ramp with a drawbridge, for instance. You could have whatever other setup you want to have. Hatches work pretty well because they don't attract any attention. So, you just do this and that's it. And it's pretty smooth. Of course, I also have a way up on the roof. And the reason is, of course, if you kill some vultures here, let's say you're standing underneath and they're up here and you kill them, maybe you want to go up and clear them, you want to get their nice feathers. So it's a way to get up on the roof as well. So that can be helpful. So this is the inner sanctum, the base proper, and it's really just a small little box here. You could, of course, put down your bedroll, you could have your forge, maybe workbench. You could turn this into a nice base, but then you probably want to expand it on pillars all around. I didn't do that, obviously, because there's no point, just for showing the concept, because the concept is not the base part. It's actually the fighting part. So that's why we have it. And of course, like I mentioned, we have the top here with the iron bars. You could fill it in so that nothing aggroes from above. But, having the bars is pretty nice if you want to shoot the birds. And it gives a nice light and you can look out and see what's there. Now, I filled in all of this, so this one should not aggro. If there's any cops on the back, it shouldn't aggro them because they can't see through. If you want to have openings, bars, or something to shoot through, you can do that as well. Maybe hatches so you can open and close. But then keep in mind that cops will be vomiting and it will deal some damage. So you have to be a little bit careful about that as well. Now, the really important parts here is really the fighting stance. And this is where I put poles. And let me bash this one. This is just concrete. You probably at some point want to upgrade it to reinforced concrete or steel because they do take a little damage. This one down here take a little bit of damage, as you can see as well later on. So you might have to repair otherwise. If you're just doing it like wood, they would fail really fast. Cobblestone might last a bit longer, of course. Concrete or steel is, of course, the best later on. The reason I have poles is because it gives a pretty good way to bash through. You can do that pretty easily, and zombies generally cannot jump through. Potentially, I think the spiders could, but again, you should be able to handle the occasional spider that manages to jump in. Now, it's a 2 gap, and you see here, I can show that's one, and another 2 here. And if you make it further, you have problems to hit them because you can't bash that far. It also means that they might not jump, which is a problem. And if you make it too far, they're just going to fall down and then you can't melee them. And of course, the whole idea is for you to melee them. So you want to make sure that it's not too far. 2 works pretty well. I wish we had like halberd or spear or something. That would be pretty cool. So that's it. Most of the things is concrete. Upgrading to metal, some of the things like the pillars and the front and everything would help. But, concrete works quite well. So whatever you do, don't put too much weight up here in the front because the pillows are only back here. This is all concrete and it works pretty well. If you put a lot more though, everything's going to go crumbling down and then you're going to lose half the base. So be a bit more careful. Now let me show how it works and let me spawn in. Look at me. Let's do a normal zombie here. Zombie biker. Hello. Come here, sir. So the normal zombies are no issue. As you can see, they're really slow. Then he comes here and he walks there and then you bash them. And he's burning. Funny thing, you get the burning thing here. Did he die? Target hurt. So now I can see him. And he's slowly making his way out through the corridor here. Really slowly. So let's not wait for him too much. Let's get a feral one. Let's get a Joe and a Mo and a Farmer. And they're a bit more fast, so they'll be running here. And this is why I had problems with stairs. They simply would not want to jump up here at all, walk up here. And they'll come here and then bam. And they jump over. Now if you get a lot of them at the same time, of course you have a bit of a problem because you can't bash all of them. And that one was done, but they tend to spread out. But you see here, you'll see how they go. Okay, let me get rid of that guy. You see how they walk really weirdly? Bam! He's burning as well. Let's time this one. Bam. Bam. So if you time it before they jump, it's the best. After they jump, they might actually bash some of it. Oh, you saw that? Oh, I didn't see. I didn't see it myself. What would that be? No, I don't think it was me. They actually can start bashing these things. So you want to try to do it. Yeah, you saw here that he decided to bash something. Yeah, this one. So take a bit care about that one. If you get him here, oh, and there I missed, and he bashed the ramp below, and there I missed again. See, I need to get this better. Let me get in some more. These ones, yes, come on. And of course, if you have the area damage one, that's even better. Bam, nope. Nope. Oh, and don't bash your own base. And they're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep going through and around and around and around. And okay. See, sometimes the targeting is really weird, where actually you should be hitting, but you're not because they're in the air. But that works pretty well. And eventually, if you do enough damage, they will die. Otherwise, they'll pick themselves up, like here. And they'll run again. I think that one is hurt, but he's hurt. Nope. Oh, missed. Oh, no. Oh, missed again. So you have to be better at melee than I am, apparently. This one's whacks a bit faster. And, of course, I still can't get it. Okay, come on. This is embarrassing. Now, see, one of them is faster than the other one. Okay, let's do this. Okay, there we hit both of them. So if you use something like this, and this one I missed, then you can at least hit multiple of them. So it works pretty well. Keep in mind, as I mentioned, that they do damage these ones a little bit if you miss bashing them. Let me see if I can do this. Nope. And then I hit that one. If you kill them, of course, it's the best because then they fall down and they're dead. Because they do take some damage from the fall as well. But let's try this against the normal Blood Moon Horde, because again, just having the occasional zombie doesn't really show how good the base is. And that was it. Dead. Alright, we now have a Blood Moon Horde starting. It's coming from this side, so let me disable the debug information here, but you can see how they run here. It's coming over here. Alright. And they should be coming up here. And oh, alright. Now we have the. You see the cops, they will be spitting from the front, so we want to avoid that. Trying to kill them. And here they come again. Yes, and it's just a normal horde. It's just a regular 8 zombie horde. You see they do some damage here because I did upgrade this one by mistake. That was dumb of me. The zombie spit. Bigger problem is actually this one. because he does area damage. This one, it works pretty well. And all of them coming at once, and they do some damage here, which is why you want to make sure you upgrade these things. But they fall, they do their usual round, and then they come again, and bash. You can hear them burning down there. And this is about, let me see, I'm going to check the game station in a moment. It's a fairly high game station actually. Get rid game stage. Yeah, so almost 500, so it is fairly high. You wouldn't get this on the early days, so it's a pretty high one. You see, you can stand here all day and bash them. Now they got this really weird kind of mechanic where they actually fall down, and then when they're blocked down, they actually start jumping. I wish they would fix this, because it makes it a little bit harder to aim, and it looks a little bit weird where they fall down first and then they jump. And then they get you sort of like down as you bash, and you sort of have to recalculate where you're aiming. But as long as you're going further down and get the timing right, it's pretty okay. And she might have gotten something in. Alright, let's try again. Do this. Bash. Yes. So if you aim it slightly down, it's easier. And you can probably get them before they jump. Oh, and there I missed. And there I missed again, unfortunately. And you get in. Now, if you had, for instance, the machete and you had the bleed damage, that would be pretty good as well. But it works well with using the sledgehammer because it does so much damage. And if you have it upgraded better than I have, you can kill the zombies quite easily. You might not get it in the first shot, but the second time they jump past, you should be able to get them, because then they've taken an extra 40 fall damage or something. So you see, like this, no major problem. Now, of course, there is some damage here that you might have to... Oh, you don't upgrade this one. That you do have to... Spam. And, of course, you're getting a lot of experience if you're just standing here. Now I'm in DM mode, so I don't get that, unfortunately. But you can just... Oh. Okay, come on, let me do the last one. Yes. And... Nope. Alright, so it works quite well. I mean, it's just 8 zombies and reasonably high game stage, but let's pump up the game stage and do like 16,000 or something. Okay, as you can see, my game stage is now almost 17,000. It's still 8 concurrent. Let's see where they start coming from. Let's turn that on. Alright, so they're going to be coming from the back. That's actually better because you get less cops vomiting from the front. I should have put some torches down there, but oh well. You'll see them coming. Yeah, see, that'll be coming down here. Alright. So it's going to be tougher. It's still just going to be 8, but it's going to be a lot more radiated, and that means it's going to take longer to kill them. Alright, let's hide that a little bit. You don't like the cops. Oh, nope. And of course, my aiming is pretty bad. Let's see if I can get this guy. Yes. Get this guy. Nope. I need to get the timing right here. No. Stop vomiting at me. Nope. Oh well. See, they do massive damage to all these things, and that's always the problem with the cops. It is a bit of a problem with the late game because you get so many radiated. You get so many radiated cops, and they are really tough to get rid of. Let's see if I can... Oh, and he got his friend there in the back. You probably just want to shoot them. I think that's more fair. They shoot at us, or they vomit at us, so we'll be shooting them as well. And he exploded. Probably taking out some of the blocks there. Okay, bash. Oh, that's funny. I bashed through Mo and hit the one behind. Bash. Oh, missed. No, I hit his leg. Oh, he hit me as well. Ooh, that's almost fair. So they will do some damage to you, but you know, I think that's fair. I don't know, I keep hitting him, but he died. Oh, and that guy is on fire. Nice. Alright, let's try this one. Yep. And bash him. So even with a really high game stage, it's actually quite doable. Just to do more damage to these things, so you could just be repairing them. And then you hit them as they come in. You get some experience. You might have to heal yourself, of course, because they are going to be dealing damage to you as well. But, you know, this is a really high game stage. You're not going to get higher game stages than this in the game, regardless of what you do. Nope. Oh, I missed that one. And you can always just pull back a little bit and then they won't jump. And then go up and wait for the next one. See if I can get this one here. Bad. Nope, I missed. But it's definitely doable. I mean, I'm killing a number of them here. And yeah, it works well with this high game stage. Now, how does it work if you're doing a really high game stage? Such as, well, high game stage. A high game stage and a lot of concurrent zombies. Well, let's try that out. And we're back now again for pretty much the max game stage here, 17,000. I don't think it's higher than that. And we're going to have 64 concurrent zombies. So I suspect that this is going to be really crazy. And I don't think the base is going to survive. I don't even know if I'm going to survive here, actually, to be honest, because there are going to be so many. And they're going to come a lot faster than I can actually adapt. Of course, it's not meant to have that. And what's happening here? Alright, they decided to get stuck there. Oh, now they're starting to bash. Maybe they went for my... Alright. Oh, and bash. And let's get this one. And let's make sure we get rid of the cops here. Oh, and bash them. Now this is where you want to have area damage. You can actually hit multiple at once. But I don't think that's going to be enough. I seriously don't think it's going to be enough. You know, oh, it's just, oh no, and oh no. So when there's this many, any melee is going to fail if you're just doing a straight up fight, simply because, well, you can't keep up. If you can't keep up, then it's really hard to kill them. Of course, using some area damage works, but yeah, I mean, it looks nice at least when you're bashing all the... Oh, I'm out of stamina. Okay, let's go back to shooting some here to clear a little bit. Now, the only melee base that I saw which worked reasonably okay with all these 64 zombies was the one where I actually... let's knock them down here. Come on, knock them down. Oh yeah. Was where I was filtering them out using the pillars, because using the pillars to filter them out, it meant that we would only have 1 or 2 zombies at a time that I would be fighting melee. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, they're even in their way of each other. They're trying to get across, but they go like, no, I want to be closer, I want to be right in front. And if they can't, they get pretty unhappy. So yeah, there's no way I can keep up here. Actually, it's going better than I thought. I'm just waiting for the base to collapse. And there... okay, this works okay. At least you could get a lot of experience doing this. And if you had some rocket launchers or something, you could just bash them and shoot them occasionally. Whenever you're out of stamina. And... nope. When there are this many, actually having the machete with the bleeding damage, the group bleeding damage, might be better, because it might allow you to start bleeding everyone. Whereas now I'm damaging one and I'm knocking a few down, but that doesn't really help enough. So I think that's something I would probably look at doing. I mean, you can knock everything down, and it looks pretty funny when all of them start falling down. Oh, what the? Oh. So this one made it through. Like I said, spiders can make it through. Wow. It looks nice with the area damage though, I have to say. I really like that. And let's take these ones out. I like that rod and spring. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, with this many, how do you keep up? And the answer is you generally don't. There's too many of them. Look at them. I mean, having 64 trying to get through here. All right. Let's hold here. Let's do this. Whoa. Wow, look at this. Massive. Okay, let's go to day here so we can see it a little bit better. Look at how many of they are here. They're all trying to... Oh, he fell down anyway. So this is a little bit more than the base is intended to hold. As you can see there, you have a big group here that are falling down, and then you have that conga line that make their way here, and you see they do this square thingy. They don't go diagonal, which would be closer, but instead they go around and go up here. And but it looks really nice. I mean, I really like it the way it looks right now. But of course, this many is really tough to do melee. You need traps. You need to whittle them down. Otherwise, you might not survive, or your base might not survive. But as you see, right, they have done some damage around here from the explosions, but it's actually not too bad. They haven't really done anything except, well, most of the damage is here by bashing the occasional block as they, let me see, nope, they come here and then they jump and then they bash as they come down, and that's why you get the damage here that you definitely want to have. Reinforced concrete or steel preferably. But that's about it. As you see, it works actually surprisingly well. As we scale up the horde, we need to scale up the build as well to have more than 3 wide. We need to spread them out so it takes them longer to go around. Maybe have sort of a maze couple of corridors so that they take longer to get back, because this is just too crazy at one go. It does take some damage, but if you were having a normal traditional base where they would just come at you through your walls, they would just get through very fast. So this base still works pretty well, because it is really a fall base, a fall trap base, and those are one of the few bases that work really well. We do get to use our melee weapons, which is really fun, and of course, as you saw, you can use your weapons and your guns as well, but this is really meant for melee. And you can withdraw a little bit and just heal up, but you want to fight, and that's why we're doing it this way. So our usual query here is, how would you improve it? What weaknesses would you bridge, and how would you do that? And how would something like this fit into your base builds? Would you make use of it? Would you make use of some kind of melee capability when you're making your base? I personally would. I like it, and I probably would have a few different setups to do it. This is one of them. The pillar sorter was another one, because I think it adds some spice to the game and allows us to experience different things as we're fighting the Blood Moon hordes. Shooting the zombies or having traps or high fall traps can kill them, but that gets boring, and we need to be there fighting, showing off our cool combat moves and perks on our gear. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll catch you again next time.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.